do.
Says positive.
This is the copy.
Is it cut?
I was looking for the letters. There's one right here. Yeah. Good. Yes, I think. Gentlemen, ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome all of you to the February 4th, 2006 Bel Air Beach Board of Adjustment hearing. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kathy, if you please call the roll.
Board Member Carol Conry.
Present.
Board Member David Gardella. Board Member Tony Gatlif.
Here.
Board Member Mark Mariano.
Here.
Board Member Gerald Wiswati.
Present.
Alternate Board Member Matt Dixon.
Present.
Vice Chair Jane Mason Goldman.
Present.
Chair Mike Kelly.
Here.
City Manager Kyle Riefler.
Here. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the January 7, 2025, actually I think that's 2026, Board of Adjustment meeting. We have a copy of the information in the actual minutes of the meeting. If anybody would like to make any changes or corrections, that'd be great. If not, we'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion that we accept them as presented.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Thank you, Jerry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, anybody in the audience that intends to speak tonight, please stand and let our clerk swear you in. If you're not even sure you're going to speak, and you might, please stand and let's do it one time.
Do you solemnly declare or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in the proceedings is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you. As chairman, I'm going to review the rules and procedures of what's going to happen tonight and the order in which we will follow various procedures. I will read the various requests, and our city manager will make a staff report. After that, the applicant is welcome to come to the podium and make his statement, after which we will have open discussion. Then the board will actually vote on a series of criteria items, 1 through 7, which we require that every variance to go through. It is absolutely mandatory that any of the 6 criteria get a yes vote, because if any of them get a no vote, the variance is denied. We will vote on each one of the 7. At that point, there'll be a motion and a second regarding the actual variance number, and we'll have a roll call vote. Moving forward, at this point, we tabled back in January 7th, variance number 26-04. It's back up tonight to be reheard. So if we would go ahead and proceed with the request for a variance above the 18-inch maximum height above the crown of the road, which Kyle and Kathy, if I'm correct, we're now requesting a 15-inch variance. as opposed to the 3-inch variance. Is that correct?
Kyle Reefler, City Manager. Yes, that's correct. So if you recall, this request was heard at the last January hearing, and we realized that at the time, based on the way the code's defined, that the variance request was off, and we had a request of 3 inches, and it should have been 15 inches because of the foot additional. So we thought it was best to come back at another hearing just to make sure that we advertise it for the correct variance amount, and that's where we are today.
Okay. Don't go away. I know the applicant's present. If you'd like to come back up, you're welcome to. It's up to you.
My simple ask would be to see if there are any further questions on that. I know we discussed this at length in the last meeting. I don't want to take anybody's time unnecessarily.
So we all understand we are now going to be 33 inches above the crown of the road to the top of the pool. it's 15 inches. The variance request is from 3 inches up to 15 inches. We've got it 12.
That is correct.
And there have been no other changes to your design
No, sir.
since last meeting?
Okay, I can't remember if we actually went through the criteria last time or whether or not we just tabled it before the criteria.
It was tabled prior to.
Before the vote? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and go through the criteria now. Vice Chair?
Okay, number one, has the applicant demonstrated that special conditions or unique circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not applicable to other similar structures or buildings in the same zoning district? Yes, the variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Number two, has the applicant demonstrated that the variance requested is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure? Yes, the variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Has the applicant demonstrated that granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this chapter? Yes, the variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Number four, has the applicant demonstrated that the variance requested does not change the use of the property from the use characteristics mandated for Districts 1 and 2 in Sections 30-51 and 94-252 and Article 4, Division 3 of this chapter? Yes, variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Number five, the applicant will comply fully with the additional conditions and safeguards which the Board of Adjustment may prescribe, including but not limited to reasonable time limits within which the action for which a variance is required shall commence and or be completed. Yes, the variance is approved. No, variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Has the applicant demonstrated that the variance requested does not violate any provision and requirements set forth in Chapter 62 and Chapter 74 of the City Code? Yes, the variance is approved. No, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlip?
Yes.
Mr. Wizawati?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
And finally, number 7, is such variance is not in conflict with the City of Bel Air Beach strategic plan. Yes, the variance is approved, no, the variance is denied.
Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlif?
Yes.
Mr. Wizabody?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes. Would a board member like to make a motion regarding variance 26-04?
I make the motion that ordinance -2604 for variance, and I make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, what we're voting on is actually the increase from 3 inches to 15 inches, and it'll be recorded that way. Kathy, will you call the roll?
Yes. Ms. Connery?
Yes.
Mr. Gatlif?
Yes.
Mr. Wizabody?
Yes.
Mr. Mariano?
Yes.
Mr. Dixon?
Yes.
Ms. Goldman?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes. Sir, thank you very much for being patient, letting us rehear your case today. Your variance is approved.
Thank you.
The next case that we're going to hear is variance request 26-05 at 507 Harbor Drive. The applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet, 0 inches from the required minimum waterfront setback of 30 feet. This is a rear setback issue. Kyle, you got it again.
Okay, so yes, this is 507 Harbor Drive, and this is a variance request to allow an encroachment of 3 feet into the 30-foot water setback of the lot. And it is lot 17, block A, unit C, so I believe all unit Cs have a 30-foot water setback. The requesting party has a whole slideshow that they prepared, so I'd like to let them use their displays for this request.
Is the applicant present?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Board of Adjustment members, Brian Ox, 65 Fort Street, McFarlane, Ferguson, here on behalf of the applicant, Samuel Spagnolo and Beverly Randall. This is 507 Harbor Drive. I'm going to try to start a PowerPoint here. Oh, it's there, okay. All right, so this is an aerial. This is a pie-shaped lot on a curved interior waterfront property. You're very familiar with these properties where the setbacks are uneven. And so that is the unique circumstance as it relates to this property. You'll see a closer image of the rear waterfront, but it is curved, and so that rear seawall waterfront property line is not even, it is uneven, and so it varies. We're asking for a maximum of 3 feet variance to the 30-foot waterfront setback at the farthest away point. So that will not be a uniform variance. It's simply from the farthest point that we can get the stairwell and the lanai structure, which is only 2 stories, which you will see on the elevation that I'm about to show you. This structure was built in 1950. My clients purchased the property in July of 2024. 2 months later, it was substantially damaged and was destroyed. They've never moved in. They rent now in St. Petersburg. They're very much looking forward to building a new home, which complies with FEMA standards and is elevated. And I think one of the issues you're going to hear tonight from the neighbor is a view corridor or the view. And there's nothing we can do about the fact that this home was destroyed and it has to be elevated. As you know, the first floor will be unoccupied. It's available for a garage or storage. It is not allowed to be an occupiable floor. And so I think that is really the heart of the issue you're going to hear tonight is the view. And I will address that in detail as we go forward. I think while it may not be popular, It is clear under Florida law, it's the Fontainebleau case going back to South Florida in 1978, you're not entitled to a view over your neighbor's property, and that's not a legal basis that you're allowed in a quasi-judicial hearing to use to deny a variance. That's our position, and I believe it's been well settled for about 50 years in the state of Florida. But I want to show you why what we're requesting is the minimum variance required for the reasonable use of the property. So we're requesting a 3-foot variance from the required 30-foot rear waterfront setback to allow for this redesigned home that was substantially damaged to be built in compliance with the FEMA flood and elevation standards. Due to the narrow size of the pie-shaped lot, the required setbacks restrict the footprint of the home, and the additional FEMA compliance and front side setbacks, there's a need for a slight encroachment of 3 feet out of 30 for a 27-foot setback to the rear waterfront setback. The applicant's development team designed the home so that the requested encroachment is only for the stairs and the raised lanai deck, so it's stepped back. So the full 3 stories is not up until the variance. It's only 2 stories. It's basically stairs and a lanai. And then that third floor is stepped well back. And I'll show you that here on the elevation. That's the site plan. This yellow thatched area is the variance area. So it's de minimis, very, very small area. And again, it consists of stairwells and a rear lanai. And as you can see, that is a curved seawall. So we have an uneven lot. So we're only 3 feet to the closest curve. We meet the setback as it elongates on the curve. That's a closer view of that image there. So here's the elevation. This green area is the variance area. This could have been designed to maximize the envelope, the building envelope, and push that 3rd story all the way to 30 feet from the rear. But that's not the design that we chose because we were trying to be conscientious in the design and understand the neighbors. But you'll see the 1st floor, that's a stairwell, and the 2nd floor is a lanai, and then it's completely stepped back, well stepped back, to preserve any views from the 3-story home that's next door. And those show the stairwell and the step backs. So this is, I think, an important view. This is what the property looked like in May of 2025. You can see there is extensive and very healthy landscaping and foliage that basically completely screens the existing structure. My understanding is that our neighbor to the south is objecting based on impacts to the view. Our position is that, again, legally that's not a basis you're allowed to consider, but even if it were, that those impacts would be de minimis. Any landscaping that's going to be required by code and is going to be installed will screen that 2-story use. It's not a 3-story use. That 3 stories is going to be really in the middle, more of like a tower in the middle of the property. And this again is an image of what those side view corridors look like back in May of 2025. The landscaping was removed in July of 2025 to prep the site for redevelopment. So again, as you can see here, there's healthy landscaping and tree foliage coverage that really screens the house, both houses. It provides privacy and screening for both houses. So again, respectfully, we believe we provided competent substantial evidence to meet all 7 of the review criteria. The special conditions and unique circumstances are the substantial damage from the hurricane and the pie-shaped lot that has an uneven rear setback. We've demonstrated the minimum variance required because we're not actually even at full variance on the whole rear setback, and we're simply requesting a rear lanai and stairwell, which both neighbors enjoy. And actually, you can see here, the neighbors have more of a straight, less uneven. We're basically the biggest curve on this section of the seawall there. It's not a special privilege. Everyone else has a stairwell and a lanai, and we're required to comply with these FEMA standards. And the remaining conditions we'll comply with. And we're not violating the floodplain or floodplain, we're actually complying with the floodplain and the floodplain by bringing the property up to resiliency and to code. So respectfully, we believe we provided competent substantial evidence to meet the review criteria. We're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Mr. Onks if the other people in the audience that would like to speak would please come to the podium. If you'll just stand by, we'll have questions for you shortly.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody would like to speak? Please give us your name and address, sir.
Good evening. My name is Alan Householder, and I live at 505 Harbor Drive.
And you are right next door, sir?
That's the property to the south, right next door on the south side of the various lot that you're discussing.
Thank you.
I just oppose the approval of the variance simply because of the dramatic obstruction of view that we're going to lose looking northward. Back toward the causeway, and I really believe it's going to make my home less desirable in the event that I sell it someday, because of that. So I think it's going to devalue my property. This home is not even broken ground. Why not, design and build a home to be code compliant with, what the standard setbacks are, what they are. We shouldn't even be talking about it, really, if it was done properly.
Sir, is your house built back 30 feet and it was compliant?
My house, I measured my house. My house was 30 foot 8 inches.
Okay.
From the main part of the dwelling to the leading edge of the seawall towards the water. 30 foot 8 inches.
So it was built in compliance with our code?
It was built in compliance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate it. Anybody else would like to come up and speak? You're welcome to. Kathy, the board was informed that today that another neighbor objected, and you received an email to that effect. Do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it?
I can read it.
Okay.
I live at 509 Harbor Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. I am out of town and unable to attend the hearing. As much as I hate to, I am opposed to the variance request at 507 Harbor Drive, Bel Air Beach. It will block part of my water view to the south, and I don't think the city should be set a precedent for granting variances to build closer to the water. Thank you, Jim Knight.
Thank you. Mr. Knight lives directly north of 507, and Mr. Knight just completed a new home and was compliant with the 30-foot setback. He's not here tonight, but would have made those comments in that respect. We're appreciative of the fact that the neighbors on both sides have now at least made contact with the city and made their comments public. Kyle, I've got a couple of questions for you if you can come back up. I don't know if you're able to show some of those construction sites, construction numbers that you and I have talked about regarding the length of the homes. I can give you the architectural numbers if you want.
Okay, I think that's what we want to look at. That's the A00 page.
Yeah. Yeah, the 00, the first one showed a 30-foot setback. Now this is the amended version at 27.
This is showing that.
Hold on. Sorry, Alan.
We're looking at board members A0.0.
That's the wrong one. Here we go.
The original submittal to the city for plan review showed a rear setback of 30 feet. I realized the PowerPoint and the information from Mr. Onk shows 27.
Do you see on this plan, it says, it shows an encroachment. I believe this is the newest. Let me pull up one more, just to verify.
So, yeah, this is the plans, the newest set of plans that our reviewer with Gemini Kobe used to do his review, and he calculated based on how it was set back with the bay windows up to the front edge of the 25-foot front setback, that they would need for that encroachment in the back overhang, they would need 3 feet. And there was some confusion when they were first doing the review of the plans because the measurement for the rear setback was not shown from the inside edge of the seawall cap. So that caused some fluctuation, and they realized there was an encroachment.
So the house as designed, front to back, exceeds more than 55 feet, because that would be the open space for the actual home to be built. 25 in the front, 30 in the rear.
Right, so the requirement is 25 in front, 30 in the rear, and this illustrates that they're going to be encroaching that at the second level. There's an overhang of 3 feet encroachment.
Okay. Does the board have any questions, Mark?
Not for Kyle.
Okay. Mr. Amish, if you want to come back up?
Yes, sir. May I address that point on the original plans versus the plans that are before you tonight?
Great.
So our design professional measured the rear setback from the property line, not from the interior of the seawall originally. We are 30 feet, if not more, from the property line. The city reviewer informed our design professional that the city measures the rear setback for waterfront properties with a seawall from the interior of the seawall. Therefore, the 3-foot setback is required. We also originally, the designer also originally submitted a 20-foot front setback and was told it has to be 25 feet, which we now comply with. And so if you measure it from the property line, we don't need a variance. If you measure it from the interior of the seawall, we need a 3-foot variance. So that's the discrepancy on the plans and the design comments that were responded to.
Traditionally, Bel Air Beach, and you've known this city for a long time, doesn't grant variances on new construction. You have due process to come here, and we're thrilled that you're here. You do an excellent job, you always have. Our big criteria issues are whether or not there is a unique circumstance or a special condition to meet that required this variance to take place. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that? Because that is one of our questions that we will be reviewing in the immediate future.
Right, and I think that's an important point. So it's subtle, but we are on a curve, whereas the neighbors are not on as much of a curve in terms of their setback. And the homes also are, the neighboring homes are, see here you've got definitely more even space here. And in terms of this home, sure, they meet the 30-foot setback, but they're also 3 stories high straight up, and we're avoiding that. I also want to point out that what we're requesting is not for a variance to go to the maximum building envelope. What we're requesting is simply a variance to allow for a stairwell and a lanai, which everyone else enjoys, and we're giving a step back that is not required, but we're providing a step back to make it more consistent with what would be compatible. So I do think there are unique circumstances in terms of the narrow lot. I do think that there have been variances granted for rear setbacks, and I do think there have been, this is not a large variance, it's a very small percentage of the setback, and it's only one variance. We're not requesting several variances. So I do think that it does provide confidential evidence to meet the 7 criteria. If you all would like to see us try to reduce that and move the building forward a little more, but then we'd be violating the front setback. So I don't know if it would be more palatable to the board if we provided a 1-foot variance for the front setback and a 1-foot variance for the rear setback. I think we'd be willing to do that. If that would be more palatable for the neighbors, I believe the neighbors have said they would prefer a front setback variance as opposed to a rear setback variance. Don't want to speak for them. My client did meet with both neighbors, has collaborated and, tried to be very transparent, so this isn't like a surprise. So we're trying to definitely work with the neighbors, obviously try to avoid any disagreements with neighbors. It's a key to what we try to do. So we're open to feedback, and, I think we've met the criteria, but if you'd like to see us do a little more or anything else, we'd definitely be willing to do that.
Okay. Any other comments by the board members?
Can the house be moved closer to the street? And I know you're gonna be violating that variance in order to avoid the view of the people, neighbors?
So the house could theoretically be moved closer to the street. It would require a front setback variance. So right now, we're meeting the setbacks to both sides and the front. If we were to move it closer to the front, or to the street, it would require a front setback variance. So we'd be coming back to you with an alternate design that's still requesting a variance. Again, one thing that we could do is 1.5 foot front and 1.5 foot rear, which would move, again, I understand we're talking about views, which our position is not necessarily a basis to deny a variance. I understand it's sensitive, but this is a property that is only proposing 2 stories where one is required by FEMA, and that 3rd story is not anywhere near the 30-foot setback. I mean, that 3rd story is well stepped back. So a redesign of this particular structure, like I said, I think we could move it forward, but 3 foot forward, I'm not sure would be exactly what we want to do. If it was able to do a 1.5 foot front and 1.5 foot rear, I think we could probably do that.
If it's new construction, why don't you just change the architect, just change the design of the house?
They could do that. I mean, do you want to address it, Mr. Spagnola, or is that a question? You need to come up here and say what you're going to do.
I think about what I would say. So when we,
Sir, please introduce yourself.
yes, I'm Sam Spagnola, the property owner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. We thought about redesigning. When we bought the house, originally, our whole intent was to be able to sort of have the indoor-outdoor living. And so when we bought the house and decided to rebuild, we wanted to try to capture some of that by building a decent-sized lanai. And so that was the objective. And when we packaged the whole thing up and submitted it, we thought we had done that. The house isn't huge, so like every square inch is really accounted for in the design. So, then after we submitted, then we found out the whole thing where we would, we had actually exceeded the setback. And so we thought that given the fact that we were only asking for such a small slice, and that we weren't building, we didn't build a big cube that sucks up the whole place, right? There's still a lot of space and view that we could go ahead and, instead of changing the plan, apply for the variance.
There is a possibility, though. I know there's a lot of notations on the plans regarding cantilever. The word
Yes.
cantilever.
Yes.
The front cantilever is 2 or 2.5 feet with the windows, because our setbacks go from where
Yes.
it's not the structure, and you guys know that. You
Yes.
designed it that way. For the sake of the board members, and not Kyle, we're not going to pull the page up or whatever, but the reason he's pushing the house back another 2.5 feet is because the front section cantilever's out 2.5 feet. Does everybody follow me on that? I'm not in the design business, but if that cantilever wasn't there, you probably wouldn't need a variance, because the front would have moved up 2 or 2.5 feet.
That would be true. But then on the inside of the house, though, right, that eliminates half my shower and a good chunk of my laundry room. I don't even be able to fit a washer and dryer next to each other if I take a couple of feet out of that room.
Like I said, we're not in the design business.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's because we looked at that. Right? We tried to squeeze it a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, I'm a pretty big property rights advocate. I think we all know that from my profession. And at the same time, I stand in your shoes and I have to come up with sound planning rationale for any variance that I ever have to go for. And I'm trying really hard in my head to come up with to tie some nexus to the request of the 3 foot in the back. And the pie shape of the lot as a non-self-created hardship, I can kind of take, but at the same time, you're at a clean slate. I live on a pie shape, on a seawall. My house was built within current codes, about 10 years old, had to meet all codes. I'm struggling to make the connection to the FEMA requirement for why the 3 foot encroachment is needed on the back. I see the stairwells on the side, obviously setback from the north side setback pretty well. And I appreciate wanting to maintain as much square footage on the interior of the house as possible, but I don't like setting a precedent for a setback if we're using a blank slate where redesign can eliminate that setback. And so unless Mr. Oaks, you can give me some nexus, some sound planning rationale that I can stick to, I'm having a hard time, and I'm pretty good at it.
Right.
I'm having a hard time coming up with
Sure, Mr. Mariano, let me address it this way from FEMA. If we were allowed to do a 2-story structure, we wouldn't need a lanai on the second floor. So that lanai on the second floor wouldn't exist, right? We wouldn't need stairs. Pardon me. So I think that is what I'm getting at with the elevation. The elevation was requiring those uses to go up. Having said all that, we're very good at reading the tea leaves, as the chair said, and very experienced with this great city. And so I think at this point we would request a continuance and come back with a different design. I'd also like to get a little bit of feedback, if I could, on the appetite for a front variance as opposed to a rear variance.
I'm going to yield to Kyle on that. Historically, had we done many, if any, front setbacks? Brian, for your information, stay up here.
Not in the recent variance requests, like the last 20,
I recall seeing any that were a front setback variance, except for some of the recent ones
Right.
where we had to, because of the storm.
Brian, this is where we're going. I'm going to help you here.
We found that some were built encroaching and did not have a variance, and having to rebuild, they were trying to use the same footprint and try to elevate 2 from that point.
Right.
And then we had to.
We've had some recently, I'm going to say within the past year, maybe 2, where because of the elevated homes that Bel Air Beach is now seeing, we're seeing some requests for steps into the front setbacks. You need it. You got to take your house up and not have steps come in the front. We understand the common sense principle of that. So front setback as opposed to back may have more credence, truthfully.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience who would like to speak? Any other comments by the board? So Brian go ahead, sir.
I would like to say, I do live next door, the front variance to me would be acceptable.
Okay.
I do not oppose, moving the house forward closer to the street. That's not a problem to me, only in the back.
And your street, where this home is located, is in the middle of the street. It's not like it's on a corner where it's going to interfere with traffic view or potential safety issues.
Yeah, I don't see it being a problem moving the house forward. Not in my opinion. Okay?
That's great. And I think Mr. Knight might be agreeing. I'm not speaking for him.
I can't speak for Mr. Knight.
No, I'm speaking for Mr. Knight. I know Jim, we've done business with Jim, and Jim might be more amenable to that as opposed to the rear. So, Brian, are you making a formal request as agent for the owner to table?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Jim, want to speak? The applicant has requested that we go ahead and table variance request number 26-05. You want to vote on that? It's withdrawn by the applicant, I mean, tabled by the applicant, but for the record, all in favor of tabling 26-05, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion approved to table. Anybody else want to speak?
There you go.
Thanks, Brian. That concludes our hearings for tonight. Is there any other information or business before the board that we need to talk about? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, coming to our hearing tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.